The sky over Aloria was no longer blue. Thick black clouds covered the sun, and the smell of smoke filled the air. Fires burned in the distance where once the royal gardens grew. Soldiers in dark armor marched through the streets, shouting orders, dragging people from their homes. The people of Aloria used to live in peace, but that peace was gone. Now they lived in fear. Queen Evelyn stood at the window of her high tower, watching the city burn. Her once bright palace was now filled with silence and shadows. Guards no longer served her. They served Commander Nolan, a cruel man who had taken control of Aloria 6 months ago. He came with his own army, strong men from the outer colonies, and forced the queen to surrender. Since then, he ruled with iron hands. Evelyn was no longer allowed to speak to her people. She was kept in the tower, dressed like a queen but treated like a prisoner. Her heart ached every day. She wanted to fight. She wanted to scream. But she had to stay quiet, for if she fought, her people would suffer more. Every act of resistance brought punishment. Every tear meant nothing to the soldiers who served Nolan. Below the palace and the servants' quarters, a young girl named Leah worked silently. She cleaned floors and carried food, her eyes always down. But Leah was not just a servant. She was loyal to the queen and brave at heart. She had seen the suffering. She had seen her brother taken to the work camps and never return. One night, when the guards were drunk and the halls were quiet, Leah crept into the old storage room. Behind broken shelves and old furniture, she found the hidden transmitter. It was old and dusty, a forgotten gift from Earth many years ago. No one had used it in a long time, but Leah had learned how to fix things. Her father had taught her before he was taken. She worked for hours, keeping her hands steady, checking wires, replacing parts. When the machine lit up, she smiled for the first time in weeks. She recorded her message, her voice shaking but strong. To anyone who can hear this, this is Aloria. We are under the control of a cruel man. Our queen is a prisoner. Our people are dying. If there is anyone out there, please help us. We need deliverance. She sent the message into space, not knowing if anyone would hear, not knowing if anyone still cared. Far above the planet, beyond the dark clouds and dying satellites, the message traveled. It passed forgotten outposts and dead stations. It reached the edge of old Earth-controlled space. The next morning, the soldiers found the storage room broken into. They searched the quarters and dragged Leah before Commander Nolan. He looked down at her, cold and cruel. She did not speak. He locked her in a dark cell and forgot about her. In her tower, Queen Evelyn felt something different. A feeling she had not felt in months. It was small, like the first spark of fire in the cold. Hope. Somewhere far away, someone had heard the cry, and they were coming. The message reached a small ship floating near the edge of forgotten space. Inside the ship, Cole sat alone in the control room. His eyes were tired, and his face had deep lines. He had lived many years on the edge, far from other people, far from war. But the war never truly left him. Cole had once been a soldier. He had seen cities fall. He had lost friends. He had walked through fire and come out broken. Now he stayed away from everything, just him and the cold silence of space. But when the message from Aloria came through, everything changed. He listened to the girl's voice. Her words were clear. Her pain was real. She was not asking for help. She was calling for justice. Cole played the message again and again. He closed his eyes and remembered the feeling of standing for something. He had tried to forget that feeling, but now it came back. He could not stay in silence. Not anymore. He opened his ship's communication system. He made a list of names. People he once trusted. People who, like him, had walked away from the fight. One by one, he sent messages. He did not ask. He only told them what he had heard. Some would ignore it. Some would come. 3 days later, a ship arrived. It was old and scarred, but strong. Riley stepped out first. Her hair was short, her eyes sharp. She had been an engineer, a fighter, and a rebel. She smiled when she saw Cole. "You really want to go back into the fire?" she asked. Cole nodded. "It's not about us. Not this time." Next came Jonah, tall and silent, with one eye and a long scar across his face. He had been a sniper in the last Great War. He did not speak much, but when he looked at Cole, he gave a slow nod. Paige arrived last. She was once a medic. Now she wore heavy boots and a long coat. Her hands had saved lives and taken them. She looked tired, but she carried a quiet strength. Together, they stood in the small control room. Cole showed them the message. They listened in silence. When it ended, no one spoke for a moment. "They're calling us Deathworlders again," Riley said. "Like before." Cole looked at the stars outside the window. "Then let's show them what it means." They made a plan. They would go to Eloria. Not as a large army, not as heroes, but as a small team that could break chains from the inside. They would find the Queen. They would find the girl who sent the message. They would light the fire. Their ship moved fast. It had no name, no flags. It's just steel and fuel and old hearts ready for one last fight. As they approached Eloria, the clouds grew thick. Sky was dark. Cole looked at the surface and saw the fires, saw the broken cities. He saw the signs of pain. "We go in quiet," he said. They landed in the ruins of the old capital. The streets were empty. The buildings were falling apart. But in the shadows they saw movement, eyes watching, people hiding. Cole walked forward, his hands open. "We're here to help," he said. "We heard your cry." From behind a broken wall, a small boy stepped out. He had dirt on his face and fear in his eyes. But when he saw Cole, he did not run. He pointed toward the palace. "They took her," the boy said. "The Queen, she's still there." Cole looked at his team. "Begins now," he said. The city was quiet, but danger was in every corner. Cole and his team moved through the broken streets, stepping over rubble and burned machines. They stayed low, using the shadows. Patrols walked the roads. Soldiers with black armor and hard eyes had strong weapons and followed orders without question. Riley watched them from a rooftop. She held a small tool in her hand and marked the patrol paths. Jonah sat in a hidden room across the street, his rifle ready. Paige helped a group of weak and sick people move into an old storage room where they could be safe. Cole spoke to the people in secret. He moved from home to home, speaking in low voice. He told them help had come. Some people cried. Some did not believe him. Some just nodded and said nothing. The people of Eloria had suffered too much, had seen hope die before. But every day more began to whisper, more began to listen. One night, Cole met with an old teacher. The man had taught history before the fall. Now he hid books in a hole under the floor. He gave Cole a map of the palace, drawn by hand. "This is from memory," he said. "But it should help you reach the Queen. She is kept in the upper tower, guarded day and night." Cole thanked him and gave him a small box of food. The next step was dangerous. Riley used wires and broken tech to shut down part of the city's power. In that moment, Jonah took down 2 guards and helped 3 workers escape. He left no trace. Fast and silent, Paige moved into the camps with supplies. She treated the wounded. She gave them clean water and soft cloth, told them to be ready. Not all believed her, but some held her hand and thanked her with tears in their eyes. The people began to rise, not with weapons, but with courage. They passed messages in bread. They marked doors with dust. They listened for a sign. Then one day Cole heard a name. The girl who sent the message. Leah. She was alive, but locked deep under the palace. Cole knew he had to find her. He and Riley entered the palace walls through an old tunnel. The air was damp and smelled like mold. Rats ran past their boots. They walked in silence, weapons in hand. When they reached the lower prison, they saw 2 guards. Cole acted fast. One punch. One strike, both guards down. They found Leah in a small cell. Her face was thin. Her eyes were tired. But when she saw Cole, she stood. "You came," she said. "Yes," Cole answered. "Now we take back your world." They moved fast. Riley led Leah through the tunnels. Cole stayed behind to delay more guards. Alarms rang out. Soldiers rushed in. Cole fought with fists and fire. He took a blow to the shoulder, but kept standing. Jonah covered them from the rooftops. Each shot hit its mark. Paige moved the sick to safer places. More people joined her. Old men, young women, even children. They carried what they could, rocks, poles, anything that could be used. Leah spoke to them. Her voice was clear. She told them the Queen still lived. She told them they were not alone. She told them that the Deathworlders had come. In that moment, something changed. Fear turned to fire. The people were ready. The storm was coming. The chains were shaking. The world was watching. The sun rose behind dark clouds as the city prepared for battle. Cole stood at the edge of the broken walls, looking down at the streets filled with people ready to fight. Men and women carried tools turned into weapons. Their faces were hard and set. They were no longer afraid. Queen Evelyn waited in her prison room. Chains bound her hands and feet. She could hear the sounds from outside: shouts, explosions, the crash of metal. She smiled faintly. The people were fighting back. The Deathworlders had come, just like the girl said. Commander Nolan stood on the balcony of the palace, watching the chaos. His soldiers were losing control. Fires burned near the gates. He had been sure no one could stop him. He had crushed every rebellion before. But this time something was different. He turned to his guards. "Find the queen. Bring her to me. We will end this now." Down below, Cole led the charge. He moved through the streets with Leah by his side. Her face was streaked with dirt and sweat, but her eyes burned with hope. Riley and Jonah covered their backs, moving quickly, taking out soldiers with silent strikes. The people rose behind them. They fought with everything they had. The weak became strong in the fight for freedom. Even children threw stones at the guards. The city was alive with the sound of battle. Inside the palace, the Queen's guards struggled to hold the line. Paige moved through the halls, helping wounded fighters. She patched cuts and stopped bleeding. Her hands were steady, even as the world shook around her. Cole reached the palace gates. Heavy and covered in scars from past fights, the gates were a symbol of Nolan's power. Cole raised his fist and shouted, "This ends now." With a crash, the gates broke open. The soldiers fell back. The Queen's chamber was close. Nolan waited for Cole inside the throne room. His face was hard, full of anger. He held a sword in his hand. "You think you can stop me? You think your people can win?" Cole stepped forward, calm and steady. "We are not just people. We are freedom. Your time is over." They fought. The sound of metal clashing echoed through the room. Cole moved with skill and purpose, but Nolan was strong and fierce. The fight was hard, both men pushing their limits. Outside, the battle raged on. The people of Eloria pushed forward, breaking through the last of the guards. Their cries filled the air. Freedom was close. Inside the room, Cole saw an opening. With one last strike, he disarmed Nolan and pushed him back. Nolan fell to his knees, breathing hard. "Your reign is finished," Cole said. Nolan looked up, hatred in his eyes, but then he fell silent. Cole turned to the Queen. Evelyn was tired, but she stood tall. "You saved us," she said softly. Cole answered. "You saved yourselves. We only showed the way." Outside, the fires began to die down. The people cheered. The chains of fear were broken. Queen Evelyn walked out onto the balcony, looking at her people. Her voice was clear and strong. "This is a new day. We will rebuild. We will heal. We will never forget." Cole and his team prepared to leave. Their mission was done. The Deathworlders had answered the cry, but Evelyn stopped them. "Stay. Help us rebuild. Help us protect this new hope." Cole looked at his team. They nodded. This was just the beginning. The city was free. The Queen was free. And the cry for deliverance had been heard. A new future was born in the ashes of the past. The city was quiet now. Fires had died down and smoke was fading into the sky. People walked through the streets with cautious steps. Their faces were tired but filled with hope. The long night of fear was over. Queen Evelyn stood in the middle of the town square. Her clothes were torn, her hands bruised, but her voice was strong. She spoke to the people who gathered around her. "This is our home. We will make it strong again. We'll build it better than before." The people cheered softly. They knew the road ahead would be hard. Many buildings were broken. Food was scarce. But they believed in their queen and in the strangers who had come to help. Cole and his team stayed near the palace. They worked with the people. Riley helped fix broken machines. Paige cared for the sick and tired. Jonah trained the guards. Leah moved through the city, giving hope and strength. Cole watched the Queen speak. He felt a strange peace. This was what he had fought for, not just victory, but a new start. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Cole sat on the palace steps. Leah joined him quietly. "Will you stay?" she asked. Cole looked at her. I have nowhere else to go, Leah smiled. Good, we need you. In the days that followed, more people came out of hiding. They told stories of pain and loss. They helped rebuild homes and plant new crops. The Queen worked with her people, listening to their needs and dreams. Commander Nolan was gone. His soldiers had fled or surrendered. The chains that held Aloria were broken forever. But Cole knew that freedom was not just about breaking chains. It was about keeping the fire alive. The fire of hope. The fire that no one could take away. One night, Cole and his team gathered on the roof of the palace. They looked up at the stars. Far away from Earth, from their home world, they had found something new. A purpose. We did good here, Riley said, but there are other places. There are people who need help. Cole nodded. We answer their cries, wherever they come from. Paige smiled. We are the Deathworlders. Jonah raised his glass. Then let's not waste time. Leah stood beside them. The Queen believes in us. Cole looked at the young girl. She was the spark that had started it all. We believe in her. The stars shone bright above them. The future was wide open. And somewhere in the dark reaches of space, the cry for deliverance was waiting to be heard again. The Deathworlders would be ready.